Hey guys, today we're here with the Focus ST as usual, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be bedding in EBC Yellow Stuff brake pads. So as you can see guys, I've already gone ahead and installed the EBC Yellow Stuff brake pads, and I also installed a brand new rotor to go with these brake pads. Part of the break-in process for these pads is they want to be mated to a brand new rotor. So if you want to get slotted, drilled, dimpled, whatever you want, make sure you get new rotors when you go ahead and get these pads. They're a very aggressive pad and they want to be basically perfectly matched to whatever rotor you pick to go along with them. Personally, I just chose a flat-faced rotor, nothing special here, very basic. It is a quote-unquote premium end of a basic rotor, so you do want something that's going to be able to handle the heat that these pads can handle. So don't go ahead and buy anything random from Walmart. Get something quality, get a good brake rotor to go with these pads. Like, you're spending good money on the pads, just spend the money on the rotors too, and make sure that you're making the most of your brake setup. So as per the instructions that come with these brake pads, they want you to do about 200 miles worth of just regular everyday city driving, normal braking, avoiding any emergency braking at all costs, unless of course it is an emergency. And for the most part, you're just going to brake them in for the first 200 miles just like that. The complicated part with braking in these brake pads is the final bed-in process, which is basically 5 really hard stops. You want to go from about 100 kilometers an hour down to about 15 kilometers an hour, or 60 miles an hour down to 10 miles an hour. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not coming to a full stop with the vehicle. The brake pads aren't going to like going from a high heat stress environment to just being stagnant. So make sure you keep the vehicle rolling as you do your 5 hard stops. So basically up to 100, slam the brakes down to almost stopped but not quite, accelerate up to 100 again, slam the brakes down 5 times in a row just like that. Something else to keep in mind when you're getting ready to go out and do the final bed-in process is making sure your vehicle is up to the task. You know, wheels are torqued to the right spec, and making sure that there's nothing in your vehicle that's going to come flying through the cab when you slam the brakes. Just making sure that everything in the car, including yourself, is ready to slam the brakes down from 100 5 times without flying through the windshield. All right, guys, we've got the vehicle started up now, and we're going to be heading out onto the roadway. Keep in mind, pick a roadway that you think will be safe. You want something that's not going to get you pulled over for going 100 kilometers an hour, and you also want something that's pretty much dead. You don't want any other vehicles around, because you're going to be going up to 100 and slamming the brakes for what seems like no reason. So make sure there's no one behind you, and in fact just make sure there's no one around for miles when you do this break-in process. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I stopped. That was bad. Yeah, don't do that. That was bad. Don't bring it to a full stop. I got a little carried away with the brake power. We're up to 100 again. Now these brake pads are going to work better the hotter they get. So just keep that in mind as you're doing these stops, and always make sure there's no one around you. Make sure your vehicle is dealing with this stress decently, and yeah, don't hurt anyone, don't hurt yourself. That's for sure. That's rule number 1 and 2. Left. Man, the stopping power of these things like shakes your brain around. Holy smokes. I don't even know how many I've done. That's another thing, keep track of how many you've done. I'm gonna do one more really hard, and that should be good enough to break in these pads. smell the brakes now for sure. The car's feeling the heat now too. The motor oil is getting up there, which is all right. It's nothing really to worry about. It is a high stress situation for the car, which you need to keep in mind. Okay, so now that we've done the 5 hard stops, that's pretty much it. Your brake pads are now bedded to the rotors. Take it nice and easy. Don't come to a full stop if you can for the next little while, just to allow the pads to cool back down. Like I said earlier in the video, you don't want to bring these pads from a high heat situation to a very cold, stagnant situation. It's not good for the pads and it's not good for your rotors. So just keep that in mind on your drive home, and I'll catch up with you guys once I get home myself, and we'll take a look at the rotors and see if they look any different. They really shouldn't, but we'll just take a look, and I'll end the video on that note. Alright guys, we're back home. We'll take a quick look at the rotors. Everything seems to be doing well. The car performed great. Like, that braking was the most I've experienced under my own pedal, if that makes sense. Like, that's the most braking I've experienced from my car with me driving. So anyways, here's the rotors. I don't think this dark streak was there before, but it's super smooth. Like, the rotor isn't gouged or anything. I'm not sure if that's just from the heat or what it is, but like I said, it's not grooved or gouged. It's super smooth. I'm going to assume that this is all normal because I've never done this before. So, something I just noticed is the amount of brake dust. Like, these wheels were relatively clean before we went out there, but yeah, this is definitely a track capable pad, and dust is not something you're going to be concerned about on the track, that's for sure. Just to give you guys a comparison, here are the back brakes. So just a comparison of the level of dust. Like, these have road dust on them, but like when you compare them to those, big difference in pad. So that's where I'm going to end the video today, guys. I hope you learned something, hope I helped you out, and we'll see you later.